So I genuinely could not be more delighted to introduce a new guest onto my channel and podcast, the lovely Richard Harland. Now, we are going to be talking about something that I'm so passionate about, which is the quality of our water. And you're going to find out loads about it today. I know my listeners are so well informed about how important good quality water is, not only just for our own health, our animals' health, those of us that are growing our own food. But before we introduce Richard properly, I wanted to sort of say why this is all pulling together so beautifully. So Richard's partner, Kylie, had been watching some of my videos on YouTube. And sometimes when you're doing what I do, it can be quite difficult, Richard, to think, is it actually making a difference? Is it helping people in any way? And then when Kylie reached out to me, it was absolutely bizarre. Those of us who watch the channels like this, you know that coincidences are synchronicities, they're a God wink, whatever you want to call it. But on that actual week, I'd been having so many conversations, not just with my family in that exact week, but also with some of my really exceptional therapist friends saying, I just can't find the right water system because I want something. I've been looking at everything on the market, but I wanted something that would do my house, my drinking water, but very importantly, because my animals and the food were growing. And I kid you not, the next day, Kylie, one of my listeners, thank you so much, Kylie, contacted me on Facebook Messenger and said, would you be interested in finding out about this? So all I want to say to people, there are people like Richard and his team that you're going to find out more about today that have been working tirelessly behind the scenes to provide solutions for all of us moving forward, which is why, Richard, I could not be more grateful to welcome you today. So please introduce yourself to our audience, a little bit about you and how you got involved with Zest Water for Life.
Okay, good morning. Hello, everyone. I'm Richard, as Catherine said. I'm just a local boy from Nottinghamshire who has a passion for changing things for the environment in which we live. My background is in engineering, so this is something that's always been on my radar. But in business, I work in the waste environment, the waste and recycling environment. And the one thing that stands out to me in everything is what happens to the water. What happens? So we've been involved in, Catherine, we've been involved in treating wastewater primarily for a number of years and using a technology that is sustainable in respect of we're not using chemicals, not using anything other than nature's hand. And to say that Kylie reached out to you at the right time, that's divine. No, I'm a big believer in the universe, and we both are. And it was just that intervention to say, look, guys, you need to talk, and here we are. So, what do you need to know? Tell me.
Yes, well, I just wanted to say to my listeners, when Richard and we've been speaking a lot over the last few months behind the scenes to really get this product launched to everyone. But my background, my first job was in waste management and water treatment. So there's, again, another synchronicity. So 30 plus years ago, I'm showing my age, I was really aware of how much of an issue this is, not just for us in the UK, but across the globe. And you're going to see today, we'll do a series of these to sort of answer any questions that people have got. But it's so important. So first and foremost, let's just start introducing to people, Richard, what are some of the things that people need to know about that are possibly, because it varies for all of us, in our drinking water that can have dramatic effects on our health that your system can remove?
Okay, I think the standout things are the common known ones: fluorides, chlorine, and all of these things that are added to water. And the reason they've been added, Catherine, and you'll know this, is because the water cycle is stressed. It's so stressed, and we can feel that water's got a memory and a feeling, and I believe this. So
my lovely tasker.
one of the key identifiers has been, if you make a cup of tea and you don't put milk in it, there's this scummy greasy layer that's in the water. And I've been asking myself, I wonder what that is. So the more research we did, you know, not forgetting that we're dealing with industrial wastewater, some real horrible things, but not really thinking about, well, how does that affect me as a person? You know, how does it affect my family and our families? So these common things like fluorides, pesticides, something that you probably, your listeners may not know about is the PFAs and PFOS. These are microplastics, things that we can't see, but they reside in our bodies forever if we're not careful. So what we wanted to do was structure the Zest to deal with these things so that in the house, not just drinking water, it's really important. This is really important. How long do we spend in the shower? How much water do we use for cooking? All of these things. So we had to have something that was practical, sustainable, and we'll come on to sustainability later on, but we needed something that was going to get rid of all of these nasties and just give us water that is good for our families, good for our animals, good for our environment around us. And that's where it started. So there's those common things and not so common things, heavy metals, you know, iron, copper. We need certain elements, but there's a lot of it that we don't need. And that's what we're filtering out, all of those things.
Now, what I'm going to do for anyone, because so that we don't go through too many details here today, initially in our first talk, is in the description box below the video and on my website, catherineedwards.life, you're going to find all these extra resources. For those of you like me that love the science and want to look into it, I promise you it's all there. Richard has been through everything so thoroughly with his team. But one of the other things that I wanted to talk about, I'm so pleased you touched on things like the microplastics and the pesticides. You know, everyone knows about glyphosate. Glyphosate has been found in virtually every rainwater across the developed world now. So even those of us that are buying organic, growing our own fruit and vegetables. Richard, I was speaking to one of my really brilliant friends. I'm going to call out Helen King from First Class Therapies. I'll put her link below. And one of the things she said, she's an expert on water. We've been looking at water systems for over 10 years together. And one of the things that really brought tears to Helen's eyes, and I'm not exaggerating at all, people, when I say this, is that all of us that are watching things like this, we're trying to make the world a better place for everyone. So when you're going to see that when you have a Zest filter system in your home, not only is everything your animals, what you're watering your plants with, etc., going to be a lot safer and a lot healthier, but what you put down the drain afterwards is also you're cleaning it up for the whole of the system. So it's a win-win situation. And I don't know anything else that does that. So in terms of the details of what it is, what I love about it is it's a zeolite, isn't it? Now, I know zeolites are a huge array of compounds. You know, you can get good zeolites and not so good zeolites. Tell us a little about the details about what's in your filter and why it's so different to some of the other things on the market.
Okay, so Zest is what's called a composite ion exchange filter. So we're utilizing an ion exchange component, which is using the zeolite. It's naturally ion exchange. We're using a device at the beginning of filtration to motivate the water, to bring structure to the water. So the zeolites that are used, the clinictolite is the dominant, and we're using them in different facets and different sizes, so that we've got a good broad spectrum of capture capability. But the significant thing, and you touched on it, once it's in there, it's not coming out until we decide. So even if it was to be broken open and somebody destroy it, those components that we filtered out aren't going to go back into the environment. That was one of the must-haves right at the beginning. Whatever we do, we're not going to create waste, and we're not going to temporarily solve a problem. It's got to be a long-term, full-time solution to water quality. So once we've got it locked away, that's it. we've locked it away forever. Now, the filter works, it's exponential. It's called a tetrahedrally structured composite, which means it's got like a catalytic converter in a car. You create space where there isn't space, if that makes sense. So that's what gives us the capacity for a normal household to put this filter in for 2 years and not worry about it. And then we'll exchange it at the end, and we'll recover all of that componentry that we've captured. If it's not good stuff, we'll destroy it using a secure destruction method. But if it's something that's available that we can redeploy, like phosphates and nitrates, we need to be doing that. And what we're going to do within the community, because this is a community thing, Catherine, I know that you've felt that from me. I want this to be a community thing. We want to be able to, if we've got growers and people who are home growers, we want to be able to put the material back to them and say, look, use this in your garden. Your plants will sequester what they want when they want it. And this has to be the future. Instead of using sort of pesticides and things, it's a real step forward in terms of doing the right thing, I think.
Yeah, it really is. And this is a system. I mean, I've been through loads of this research, so we're just introducing it to everyone today. There's so much science behind this. Now, Richard, you mentioned clinoptilolite. Now, my listeners who've been listening to me for a while know I absolutely love a product called the Roots Clean Slate, which again is derived from a clinoptilolite. And a lot of the things, the technicalities behind this, believe me, what Richard and his team have managed to do is not simple. It's using these base materials in a way where nature's working for us and we're giving back. But this is a very, very special zeolite, isn't it, Richard?
It is, and it comes from a sustainable source. One thing about Zest, we're a global business, and I say global because the people involved come from all over the world. We've got people in Poland who are involved in the manufacturing element, the assembly element. In Sweden, Oscar Littbacker, my colleague, is the technical guru and one of the foundation stones of doing what we do. Andrea Caruzzi is an Italian. We're dispersed. We've got people in America, Paul Kearney. So what we wanted to do was bring some real incredible minds into a space without living on each other's doorsteps, but everybody with the same desire to do something right, to do something off the bat that's going to be a legacy.
I love
legacy. Yeah, well, we have to. I've got young children. Well, I've got two young children and some grown-up children, but it's so important that we preserve water. As I just want to go back to, the water cycle stress. We're building all of these houses, so the water treatment systems that are in place, they're trying to push the water through quicker than they should be.
Yeah.
Well, this is belt and braces. This is not a Berkey sat on your desktop filtering some water you're going to put in your kettle. This is about all the water in your house, Catherine. All of it.
This is what I really want to, excuse me, I just realized my laptop wasn't plugged in and we were just about to be cut off. So this is what I want people to understand, because at the moment I've got two countertop things, because with the amount of animals I've got and people in my house, we get through a lot of water. So explain to people how this fits into a normal house, Richard. So therefore how it does all of it and in the water, which is very, very different to a countertop system.
Sure. So we need to insert Zest as close to your incoming water supply that comes from the road as possible, because we want all the water that goes into the house, whether it be for bathing, cooking, drinking, feeding your animals. We want all of the water, including the central heating water. So oxidation will be reduced in your boiler system because Zest naturally softens water. So we're going to reduce the impacts on your central heating system. So in this instance, the picture you're showing, Catherine, is as an install. This is a render, actually. Did you get the picture I sent you this morning, by the way?
Yes, I'm just trying to work out how to say it. So carry on talking and I'll work out how to share that. Yeah.
If we can install Zest as close to the incoming water supply as possible, we know that we've got belt and braces, all of the water in your house, and that's going to make a significant change to everything that happens in the house thereafter. You should be able to use less chemicals because this is cleaner water. It's not got residues in it. It's definitely going to improve the taste of your cooking. And Andrea, being an Italian, is so excited about cooking pasta with zested water. So simple installation, insert between the incoming and the meter if you have one. And once it's installed, that's it, fit and forget. Yeah.
Here we go. This is
what we did yesterday.
Yeah.
We did this yesterday. This is in Poland. This is one of our colleagues in Poland did this installation yesterday. This is an apartment block. So this is the initial installation. The thing is about Zest, Catherine, is that we can apply them in parallel. So if you've got a big use of water, you can apply multiple Zests. It's not, so long as we don't do it in series, which will affect the water flow, we can put them in parallel. So the instant response when I got a phone call within 10 minutes of it being started, the water tastes amazing. Yes, it does. Welcome to the world of Zest.
And I think this is lovely. So the thing is, it's suitable for installing in anyone's home. Any sort of plumber or DIY person. I'm not a DIY, so I will be getting a plumber to install mine. Mine is on order as we speak. So the next video, I'll be telling you about my experience with it. But this is very easy for people to install. Anyone who is a good handyman or is a qualified plumber can install it. Now, each unit lasts for approximately 2 years, doesn't it, Richard? And the cost is just under £700.
Yeah, 695. That's including delivery, and the fitting kit. There's a range of adapters that are in the box. Unfortunately, I've not got one. I thought I was going to get one delivered this morning, but it's not arrived in time. But everything is in the box that you need, or thereabouts. It should be in the box. Simple installation. Yes, fit and forget. When we say 2 years, that's based on 250 cubic meters of water. That's a lot of water.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you're going to use less, we would encourage you to change it every 2 years. But, you know, at what works out to be less than £1 a day, we're trying to do it with a pound in a jar and see if it affects people's lives. And on that basis, Catherine, I haven't told you this, but there are a number of people who've come forward and said, look, I'd love to do this. You know, my health's not so good, but I can't really afford this. And we're donating units to those people. Again, we're going back to community. We have to look after ourselves. We have to look after the people.
That's absolutely amazing. And perhaps moving forward, I know so what I want to really encourage people to say is, yes, £695, that will be at least a 2-year shelf life for you. Richard and his team will then be getting, when you then get a replacement unit, they will take the old one up, recycle, reuse, reclaim. So there will be, in terms of the cost of the replacement, I think you're working on what that will be over the next few months. Yeah,
it's going to be less, of course, because there's not all the assembly parts that come with it. We're going to cover the cost of the return postage. You know, there should be no impact to the user. And I think by the time year 2 comes along, Catherine, we're going to do it on a subscription basis.
Yeah.
There will be opportunity for people to just do it on a monthly subscription or something like that. But one thing that we do know, having run these things for a couple of years already, there's no going back. It's very difficult to go to someone else's house who doesn't have Zest and not think, the water's not very nice. I know you know of Antonia Harmon.
Yeah.
She had someone go and visit her at her house and had a shower and said, oh my God, my hair and my skin's never felt so good.
Exactly. And this is what I'm very conscious of, because at the moment I've got water filtration for the drinking water for myself and my small animals, but not for my horses. So I'm really passionate about that. And also because we're doing loads more growing of our own food in the thing. And again, I want to be able to make sure that that water is as good as it can possibly be.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things I wanted to ask about, you know me, I quizzed you, Richard, so strongly about this, is about the testing, because there's so many people that make a lot of claims that aren't then backed up. So can you just run us through about how thoroughly you guys have been doing the testing and how people can get hold of some of that data if they want that?
Yeah, of course. This is all Oscar's work. Because we've been doing the industrial wastewater, the constraints around industrial wastewater and the permissions to put to lake or water course are so stringent. So obviously we've been doing lots of testing, taking away heavy metals and things over a long period of time. But we've done exhaustive testing on drinking water, and we use Eurofins as a laboratory to make sure that the test results are robust. And we're seeing significant drops. Every time water passes through Zest, the PFAs are going to be reduced by 70%. Now, when we talk about 70%, it's 70% of a small number, but every time, and once it's in, it's locked away. So yes, there is lots of test data, and there's a list of known contaminants that we've tested for on the website, and by all means, we can give downloads, and I think you have a document for download, Catherine. So the use of the material, the Clean It to Light, is ISO to an ISO standard. It's well established, as it is for stomachal treatments. Orally, people are using Clean It to Lights for digestive related issues. So it's completely safe. But we will continue to spearhead anything else that we can do to advance Zest, and what else we could do with Zest. So be assured, we've locked, stock and barrel. We've covered all the bases, and that won't change.
And I can vouch for that, because anyone who's worked with me, I mean, the Asea people say this, the Roots people say this. I love research, Richard, because of my background, because I've been doing this for so long. I know that there's a lot of sort of false prophets out there. And this is why I am literally so excited about Zest, because it's literally answering all my dreams. Because, Richard, you and I, we've had many a conversation, and also Kylie, that so many people at the moment, there's such a fear mentality, because it's overwhelming when people start realizing what some of these struggles are that we're all faced with. But you have provided something that's going to give real peace of mind, not only, for all of us. So what I love is, and I really want people to realize how many people out there, we may look like there's a lot of bad things going on, but there's people like your company that have been working tirelessly behind the scenes to provide these solutions. And Richard is genuinely open, guys. Anyone that's watching this, thank you. Please do share and leave in the comment box below. Obviously, the details as to how to contact Richard directly will be below as well. But feel free to leave in the comments box below, and I'll be monitoring them and feeding back to Richard about what other information you'd like us to cover, because my job is to make this easy for you. And I can guarantee that anything that I'm using, I have done my research. That's what my bit back to the community.
Definitely.
Use anything. I'm the bane in these people's eyes, but I'm not going to talk about something. This is why it's taken Richard and I so long to do it. So let's get on to the nitty gritty of ordering. First and foremost, what countries can you supply at the moment? Because we've got a global audience. We've
launched across the UK, France, Poland, Spain, Germany, Sweden, the Netherlands, and the Americas. So quite a reach. We can distribute all over the world. That's not an issue. We manufacture ourselves, so quality control is within our gift, to make sure that everything that we do is what we want it to be. So it's a simple process, Catherine. There's the website needs tweaking because it's quite new, but there's a call to action that says, I want to order, or I want to ask a question. that's there on the website. Right now, it's not so automated. Your email will either reach me, Oscar, or Andrea, or Paul, or Lucas at this point, and we'll answer you. Dependent on where you are, we'll answer you directly. So you'll get an email from me directly if you're in the UK, and then we'll send you an order form with just some details. And delivery is going to be 7 to 10 days.
Yeah.
And that comes directly to you. And there's instructions. There's some downloadable instructions on the installation and some FAQs. And I think the one thing I want to get across is we're here because we're a community. And if you've got a challenge, let us know about it, and let's see what we can do. Let's see who we can help and how we can move forward. I was just going to go back to one thing that came up yesterday about uremic venoms and how we're taking out when obviously lots of people have been going through this vaccination process, and that's people's choice. But what happens in the body is you're synthesizing that, and then you go to the loo, that goes into the watercourse, and conventional wastewater treatment doesn't resolve any of that. So we're actually picking all of those things out, as we are estrogen. We know that there's been a drop in fertility.
Massive.
And we were doing a little study, and if anyone's out there, any of you, your viewers, your participants, Catherine, who is in the baby world, think about making. It just fills me with dread, making baby formula with water that's got all these contaminants in. You're just not getting off to the right start. So we're going to do something special in that area, because it's important. We need babies, don't we?
We absolutely do. We need babies, and we need to really, you and I are a similar age, I think, and I think this is the thing. It's like the problems that people are facing now. This isn't about fear; it's about solutions. So the thing is about when we know what the problems are and what's being thrown at us. And you raised such an important thing about what's going out, being shed from the body from all the vaccines. I have to be careful how many times I say that word on YouTube. But I've been seeing this. I'm a holistic therapist that works with animals for well over 10 years, Richard. I've been seeing not only the cancer rates go off the scale with animals, now things like the glyphosate, every study that they've monitored for pesticide accumulation in animals is showing our animals accumulate at least 10 times more than we do. A whole nother show in terms of why that is. But with our young children and everything, they're exposed to so much more than any of us were when we were growing up. So we can help them. It's not about sitting there in fear. It's about taking our power back. And I know that Richard and his team are very open to, if you want to gift, put some money into a pot to donate to people for people in need, that's going to be an option as well. Now, with the website, I'm so pleased that Richard and his team have launched it before everything's automated. So in the video link below, the link to the website on my catherineedwards.live, there will be a link to these products there. At the moment, there isn't a code to link it directly through to me. I would be very grateful, and I'm being 100% transparent here with the listeners, Richard, that if you put me as a referral code. The reason why is, yes, I will then be earning some commission from that. And that allows me to do all this work and all the research that I do that I don't monetize at all on YouTube. So being 100% transparent with people there, I need to fund the work that I'm doing to spread these brilliant solutions. So it's brilliant that you're not waiting. This is another message, I think, for everyone, Richard. You've got the product fantastic at working, and now you're making it available because people are desperate for the solutions now. They don't want to wait another year until everything's beautifully automated. They want to get it now, and the product is ready for you now.
Yeah, and the bane of my life in what I do is people who hurry up and wait.
Yes.
So no more. And I want to add something to what you just said. Yes, we're all looking to earn, from our efforts. But what we don't want to do is tie ourselves to a big conglomerate distribution network. We don't want that. This is about community. So we've been approached by Amazon, we've been talked to by IKEA. No, thank you. I'm not being shooting myself in the foot. I don't want that. None of us want that. Oscar's from Sweden. He doesn't want that. He wants the people of Sweden to benefit. And this enables us to keep the price low. And I genuinely believe for what it's capable of doing, the price point is on the button.
Pound a day for all the water for you, your animals, your garden, what you're washing your dishes in, what you're washing yourself in. It's just incredible what you've managed to do. And when I've been talking to my holistic therapist friends, they're completely blown away, Richard, because they haven't had solutions that they can offer their clients. So a lot of I've got so many holistic therapist friends. If people have got health struggles, please reach out for me and I can help connect you with some of these brilliant, brilliant people. But a lot of people, Richard, for example, there's a lot of heavy metal intolerance that we were talking about. A lot of people, their microbiome is completely shot because of all the toxins in the air and the water and the things. This is going to help all of you. Can you just touch on, for those of us like me, where we're in a really hard water area, which obviously affects the quality of the water, but also the lifespan of some of our equipment and machines. How does it help with that, Richard?
Naturally, water softens the water, just naturally, but by the way that the composition is worked. So if you do live in a hard water area, you're going to notice that instantly. You're going to see a reduction in the calcification in devices. We encourage you to drain your central heating system, flush it out. Of course, that's going to go into the drain initially, but then we're prolonging the life and we won't have to do that so often. That is another big plus point for me. No waste from the system itself. A bit like if you think about a reverse osmosis system, it uses water to clean water.
Yeah.
And then you take the cartridge out and you throw that in the bin. No, we don't have any waste from this. So
absolutely beautiful. I'm so grateful. This is where we're moving forward to, everyone. Solution-based people working together to spread the word. So try them out. I'm having mine installed when Richard's back in a few weeks' time. I will be sharing that journey with you. I cannot wait. The dogs can't wait. Animals are the best at self-selecting what's good for them. All the links for how you can contact Zest are below. They'll also be on my website, catherineedwards.live. Richard will be back again when you get back from your travels. But before we leave, is there anything else you want to leave people with?
No, I don't think so. I think thank you, Catherine. Thanks for giving us the opportunity. And I'm sure there are a number of other conversations you're going to have about other things. But no, thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks for watching. Feel free to leave your questions below or contact Zest directly, and then we can answer those in our next catch up. Lots of love to everyone. We're creating these solutions and we're going to spread them far and wide. Thank you, Richard.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking the time to listen. And if you feel inspired, please do share with your friends and family. My goal is to inspire as many people as I can to live their best lives, to stay curious and to raise their consciousness and that of the collective. So to do this, I need to reach as many people as possible, and this needs your help. If you feel drawn, would you be willing to share your favourite episode with 5 different people? This helps us spread the word and also helps me encourage some exciting new guests to take part in this podcast. If you feel drawn to do that, I will be very, very grateful. All the links and discount codes where applicable for all the products that I support are on my 2 websites, catherineedwards.life and catherineedwardsacademy.com. All of the products are personally tried and tested by me, my family, and my clients. And finally, please do press the follow or subscribe button, depending which platform you're listening on. And above all, stay curious and stay free.